Hello Year 9, it's Mrs Antar here. This week's lessons and the work in your workbooks is all going to be based on solving equations. For this lesson, you're going to need a pen or a pencil, some paper to make notes on. It doesn't matter if this paper is lined, squared or plain, just so that you can make some notes. And you will also need your workbook. So if you haven't got these, I'm going to give you some time now to go and get them. Okay, so during this lesson, your main success criteria is going to be using the balancing method to solve equations for an unknown variable. When I say variable, I mean the letter. For example, we quite often use X. Some key language you're going to be hearing will be the words like equation, expression, variable, inverse and balance. Let's start our lesson today with a 5 for 5. You have 5 minutes to complete these 5 questions from 5 different topics. If you're struggling with a question, leave it out because we will go through the answers in the next slide. You have 5 minutes to complete this task. Off you go. had a go at the 5 questions, and some of you may have had the extra time to look at the star question. Let's start with question 1, 184 multiplied by 16. I am hoping that everybody used a written method for this. You may have used the grid, you may have used long multiplication, but ultimately you should have got the answer 2,944. If you grabbed a calculator for this, please remember that all do now activities are not requiring a calculator. Okay, let's look at question 2. When we're expanding out a single bracket, we must multiply whatever's on the inside of the bracket by what's on the outside. So in this case, we've got 2 on the outside, and inside the bracket, we've got x plus 2, which means I want 2 lots of x, which gives me the 2x, and 2 lots of plus 2, which gives me the plus 4. So my answer would be 2x plus 4. Question 3. This is an example of substitution. I have told you that a equals 2 and b equals 4, and I want you to tell me the value of 6a minus 2b. Therefore, I need to know what 6 lots of 2 is, and that gives me the answer of 12, and then 2 lots of 4, which gives me the 8, so 12 take away 8 gives me the answer of 4. Looking at question 4, this goes back to one of the first topics we studied this year on linear graphs and the equation of them. So we're looking at what is the gradient of the line with the equation y equals 3x plus 4. Well, we know the equations all come in the format of y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. So the m value in this equation is the coefficient of the x, which is 3. Question 5. Share £72 in a ratio of 2 to 1 to 5. So therefore, I have got in total 8 parts. So if I take my £72 and I share it equally between each of these 8 parts, that would mean that 1 part is worth 9. So therefore, 2 parts would be 18, 1 part we have said is 9, and 5 parts would be 45. So the answer is 18 to 9 to 45. The star question, where it says list as many angle facts as you can remember, you may have some keywords, for example, vertically opposite, angles in a triangle, angles on a straight line, angles in a quadrilateral, alternate angles, co-interior angles, and corresponding angles. So let's start solving a simple one-step equation. When I say it means one step, it means you have to manipulate the equation in one move to solve it. And in this case, we know that a plus 8 equals 20. Therefore, a would equal 20 minus 8. So a equals 12. You can see this in the diagram below, and this may help you understand this. Otherwise, you may want to think of it as a balance scale, whereby if I take something from one side of the equation, I must take it from the other side. And in this case, to isolate the a, I need to take away 8 from that side, which would mean that I would take 8 from the answer side. So I would end up with the a equals 20 minus 8, and ultimately a equals 12. You may want to write this example down and pause your video at this point. Okay, moving on and increasing the difficulty, we're going to now look at a two-step equation. So here's my equation, 5x plus 6 equals 21. The first step to solving this will be to remove the plus 6. The inverse to plus 6 is subtract 6. So if I subtract 6 from both sides of the equation, on the left-hand side I'm left with 5x, and on the right-hand side I have 21 subtract 6. 21 subtract 6 is 15. So I now know that 5x is equal to 15. 5x means 5 multiplied by x. The inverse to multiplication, and the way we need to solve this now, is to do division. So 5x divided by 5 would give me x, and 15 divided by 5 will give me 3. So I now know that x equals 3. You can see this from the diagram shown. Okay, so let's look at a three-step question. The question I've got here is that 2x plus 6 divided by 4 equals 4. You will notice that the last thing that happens when I said that was the divide by 4. So this is the first thing that we do the inverse of. And so obviously the inverse of divide by 4 is multiply by 4. So we multiply both sides of the equation by 4, which leaves us with 2x plus 6 equals 16. I then have a very familiar two-step equation. I shall then subtract the 6 from both sides, leaving me with 2x equals 10. 2x means 2 multiplied by x, so the inverse would be divide. Dividing by 2 would leave me with x equals 5. I suggest you pause the video here for a moment to copy this down. Okay, let's have a go on our own. I'm going to give you this equation. H divided by 3 plus 4 equals 12. Please pause your video at this point and have a go. Okay, so let's have a look at the answer to your previous problem. The question I gave you was h divided by 3 plus 4 equals 12. Now the first step to solving this equation would be undo the last thing that you did, which was add 4. So we need to subtract 4 from either side, leaving us with h divided by 3 equals 8. We now need to unpick the divide by 3, which we know the inverse of is multiply by 3. So we multiply both sides of the equation by 3, leaving us with h equals 24. I hope you got it right. Okay, so we've completed the first section of our tutorial this week. You should now be able to complete questions 1 to 4 on page 61 of your workbook. I would suggest that you pause the video at this point and have a go. If you're still struggling, however, do remember that you can still watch the videos on Hegarty Maths. To prove to me that you understand what you're doing, not only do you need to complete these sections in your workbook, you also need to answer the quizzes set on Hegarty Maths. I look forward to receiving all your work. Good luck, guys. Okay, hopefully you've done the first questions in your workbook and you've managed to mark them and you've demonstrated a good level of understanding. Now we're going to look at solving equations with unknowns on both sides. I would suggest that as we go through these equations, you write them down on your notebooks. The first stage of solving this equation is to identify where the most unknowns are. So in this equation, we're looking at A. Do I have more A's on the left of the equation or more on the right? And this equation, you will see that on the left I have 3A and on the right I have 5A. So to isolate the A's, I need to have them on one side of the equal sign. It doesn't matter if it's the left-hand side or the right-hand side, but the idea is that I only have the unknown variable on one side of the equal sign, equaling a number. So in this case, the first step is to get rid of the 3A on the left. Now, to get rid of 3A, all I have to do is take 3A. This would then leave me 4 on the left-hand side, equaling 2A minus 2. I now need to get rid of the minus 2 on the right-hand side so that I have isolated the 2A. To get rid of minus 2, I need to add 2. And I add 2 to both sides of the equation, so I end up with 6 equals 2A. Again, to solve this, I only want one A, so I need to divide by 2 because I have 2A, and this will leave me with 3 equals A. This is the same as saying A equals 3. You may wish to pause your video right now and copy all this down so you have a fully worked example to refer to later on. Okay. So it's time for you to have a go again on your own. I've given you the equation 5x minus 6 equals 4x plus 1. Have a go on your own and I'll go through the answer in 2 minutes. Okay, so the first step to solving this equation was to take 4x from either side because I had 5x on the left and 4x on the right, so I had the most unknowns on the left, so I'd eliminate the 4x from the right. This would then leave me x minus 6 equals 1. I now need to get rid of the minus 6, and the inverse of that is add 6, leaving me with x equals 7. Hope you got it right. So here's an example to extend our knowledge further. This example includes brackets. In order to solve this, you will need to remove the brackets first, and we do this by expansion. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to have a go, and then I will go through the answer. Okay, that's your 2 minutes up. Let's have a look at the answer. So the first thing I told you to do was to expand the brackets. If you expand the brackets correctly, you would have got 6x plus 18 equals 2c minus 6. So now we have a familiar equation to the one in the prior example. We will then look to see where we have the most unknowns, and here we can see they're on the left. So we're going to subtract 2c from both sides. This will leave us 4c plus 18 equals minus 6. The next stage will be to get rid of the plus 18. And the inverse of adding 18 we know is subtracting 18. So at this stage we need to do minus 6 take away 18. So we're taking a further 18 from minus 6. So our answer is going to become more negative. Therefore we end up with 4c equals minus 24. And because it's 4c equals minus 24, we need to divide by 4 to give us the answer c equals minus 6. If you got that correct, well done. Okay, well done. You should now be able to complete questions 1 to 4 on page 65 of your workbook. And these are clip numbers 184, 185 and 186. Remember, if you haven't understood something fully and you need to go and watch the Hegarty videos, please do so. And then you need to complete the tasks set on Hegarty and submit them so that I can check everyone's understanding. This is a great opportunity now to pause your video and complete these independent tasks before we go on to the exit ticket. Well, I hope you've had a really good go at all your workbook questions and you've managed to complete all the Hegarty tasks for this week's learning. If not, and you want to spread it out over the week, that's absolutely fine. But here's today's exit ticket. These are the 3 key questions I would expect you to be able to answer to demonstrate your full understanding of solving equations. So pause your video and have a go. Okay, so let's go through the answers for the exit ticket. You were asked first to solve the equation 6x minus 4 equals 20. Therefore, you would add 4 to each side, so you would get 6x equals 24. Divide by 6, x would equal 4. Question 2, solve the equation 2b plus 3 equals 6b minus 17. I have more b's on the right hand side, so it makes sense to subtract 2b from either side, giving me 3 equals 4b minus 17. The minus 17 now needs to be eliminated by adding 17, so I end up with 20 equals 4b, therefore b must equal 5. The final question, solve 5 open brackets 4x plus 3 equals minus 5. We first have to eliminate the brackets, so we expand this out, so we end up with 20x plus 15 equals minus 5. So we need to subtract 15, so we get 20x equals minus 20, so x equals minus 1.